Tajweed. Tajweed means to do something nicer, to polish, to make appealing. In the Islamic tradition, it is described as the science that reaches how to read the Holy Quran without mistake, by following the rules for the articulation points of letters and the attributes of the letters. The purpose of Tajweed is to read the Holy Quran as it should be without any mistake, and to help those who read the Holy Quran fulfill their responsibilities of Quran in this world and hereafter. Reading Quran in Arabic requires following of certain rules. For this reason, Tajweed is an indispensable part of recitation of Quran. Tertil, which is mentioned in the Holy Quran in the place of Tajweed, indicates the importance of reciting Quran according to its rules. We have made it that way to place it into your heart completely. We have revealed the Quran on Tertil. Furqan 32. This verse tells us that the Holy Quran was revealed on Tajweed. The following verse also orders that Quran is recited with Tajweed. O Muhammad, recite the Quran in a slow, timed way. This verse is the proof of the requirement of reciting Quran with Tajweed. Tajweed can be learned best by following the guidance of a teacher knowledgeable on the rules of Tajweed. In the comment section, we will learn the basic rules of Tajweed. Regular Madde. There are two causes for certain types of Madde, causes of Madde. Hamza. Hamza is the letter Elif with a hareke. Its articulation point is the top of the throat. Sukun. Sukun means having no hareke. If any letter has no hareke, it is called harf-i sakin. Sukun has two forms. Sukun lazem. If a letter is pronounced without a hareke, either when recited completely or when stopped on a word to take a breath, then it is sukun lazem, meaning compulsory sukun. Sukun Arezh. If a letter is pronounced without a hareke only when stopped on a word to take a breath during the recitation, then sukun Arezh occurs. Regular Madde. If a letter of Madde is not followed by a cause of Madde, then regular Madde occurs. When this happens, the sound of the letter before the letter of Madde is lengthened by 1 elif time, which is the duration to raise and bring down a finger when the hand is on a surface.
Mükatebe, tale.
There may be a sign of Madde, a slightly vertical sign on top of the letter, on letters. These letters are lengthened for the same amount of time.
هذه لكن
خاشعة القارعة مكذبين كلا وإذا مروا إيلافهم أميون عذابا كلا القارعة إيلافهم وإذا مروا مكذبين عذابا خاشعة أميون مكذبين إيلافهم خاشعة القارعة عذابا وإذا مروا
Attached Madde. When a letter of Madde is followed by Hamza as a cause of Madde in the same word, then attached Madde occurs.
شاء آلاء.
Scholars of Quran unanimously agree on the requirement to lengthen the letter with mad before regular mad. The duration is for a lift time, about 4 seconds, meaning the duration to lift a finger and bring it down 4 times. Lengthening the vowel when attached mad occurs is a compulsory rule of Tajweed.
وإلى السماء من يشاء ضائفة إذا جاء رحماء بينهم ضياء ولا لآبائهم شركائكم رحماء بينهم وإلى السماء ضياء ضائفة ولا لآبائهم شركائكم إذا جاء من يشاء.
Detached mad or Madde Munfasel. Detached mad means the lengthening that concerns 2 words, not one. It occurs when one of the letters of mad comes at the end of a word and hamza comes at the beginning of the second word.
بما أنزل توبوا إلى الله.
In the first example above, bima and ulzile are 2 different words. In the word bima, elif, which lengthens the letter mim, is followed by the letter hamza in the beginning of the second word, ulzile. In the second example, there is waw, one of the letters of mad, at the end of the first word, tubu, which is followed by hamza at the end of the second word, ilallahi. In both examples, we see the rules of detached mad realized. Scholars are not in agreement on the duration of lengthening for detached mad, so it is optional to lengthen the vowel at the end of the first word from 1 elif to 4 elif time.
من دونه آلة في أذنيه إلا إبليس إنا أعطيناك بما أنزل ويهدي إلى ما أعبد فقالوا إنا إليكم إلا إبليس بما أنزل في أذنيه ما أعبد من دونه آلة إنا أعطيناك ويهدي إلى فقالوا إنا إليكم.
Mandatory mad or Madde Lazem. Mandatory mad occurs when one of the letters of mad is followed by other sukun lazem or a letter with shadda. The vowel has to be lengthened more than regular mad.
والجان الضالين الحاقة الآن.
Script with detached letters.
والجان الضالين الحاقة.
Scholars of Quran anonymously agree on lengthening of the vowel for 4 time. For this reason, it is compulsory to lengthen the vowel as such. The vowels for single or joint letters that come at the beginning of Quran chapters are lengthened the same way.
نون ألف لام ميم قاف.
من كل دابة تأمروني وشاقوا حاجك ولا آمين كافة ولا تحاضون مدهامتان من حاته ولا تضاروهن.
Temporary med or Madde Arezh. Temporary med occurs when a letter of med is followed by sukun Arezh.
مستقيم رحيم الدين.
In the examples above, if the words are recited as the way they are written on the right, the vowels are lengthened from 1 alif to 3 alif time. However, they are recited as they are written on the left, the vowels are lengthened only 1 alif time.
العالمين نستعين الدين عابدين صالحين للعالمين عزيز الحكيم تكذبان الدين نستعين للعالمين العالمين عزيز الحكيم عابدين صالحين.
Smooth med or Madde Leen. Leen means to be smooth or soft. When a letter of Leen is followed by a sukun, a letter with no haraka, then smooth med occurs. Vav and ya become letters of Leen when they have no haraka and the letter before them have fetha.
خوف نوم خير.
If a letter of Leen is followed by a sukun lazem, then the vowel is extended 2 or 3 alif time. If a sukun arezh comes after a letter of Leen, it is optional to extend the vowel.
والصيف من خوف هذا البيت الموت اليوم لا ريب.
Merging of identicals or Idgame Methlayn. Idgame means merging or adding something in something else. In Tajweed, it means reading two similar letters that follow each other by combining pronunciation of the two letters in the second one. Idgame Methlayn. If two letters, for which articulation points are the same, follow each other, and the first one has no haraka while the second one has haraka, the one with no haraka is merged into the one with haraka. If two letters have the same articulation points and the same attributes, they are called Methlayn or identicals. If these letters come together in one word, they are written as one letter with shadda.
الحر ربك.
If they come together in two words next to each other, they are written separately.
عن نفس فما ربحت تجارتهم.
There are two forms of Idgame Methlayn. Idgame Methlayn with Ghunna, merging of identicals with nasal sound. Idgame Methlayn Bela Ghunna, merging of identicals without a nasal sound. Idgame Methlayn Bela Ghunna occurs when noon without a haraka is followed by a noon with haraka, and mim without a haraka is followed by a mim with haraka. Ghunna is the nasal sound that comes when pronouncing certain letters.
في آذانهم من ومن نعمره.
Idgame Methlayn Bela Ghunna occurs when all letters but nun and min follow each other, the first one having no haraka while the second one has a haraka.
بل لجوا اللاعبون.
فقلنا اضرب بعصاك بل لجوا اذهب بكتابي من نريد إذ ذهب فأما كأنهم
Merging of similars or Idgame Mutajanethayn. In Tajweed, two letters are called similar if their articulation points are the same, but their attributes are different. If one of the similar letters has no haraka and followed by the other which has a haraka, the pronunciation of the first one is merged into the pronunciation of the second one. There are three categories of similars.
T, dal, T.
Pronunciation of these letters are merged into each other regardless of which comes first.
عبدتم. وقالت طائفة. ذ, ذل, ث.
These letters also merged into each other the same way as the above letters.
يلهث ذلك إذ ظلموا. ب, ميم.
In order to merge pronunciation of these letters into each other, B must come before mim. If mim comes after B, then no merging occurs.
اركم معنا.
بسطت إذ ظلموا وجدتم يلهث ذلك وما عبدتم ودت طائفة إذ قالت دعوى الله
Idgame Mutagarebayn or merging of comparables. Two letters are called Mutagarebayn or comparables when they are close to each other both in terms of their articulation points and their attributes. If one of these letters has no haraka and followed by the other which has a haraka, then the pronunciation of the first one is combined with pronunciation of the second one. Comparable letters are categorized into two groups, lam and ra. In order these letters to be merged into each other, lam must come first and ra the second, otherwise no merging happens.
قل ربي بل رفعه الله.
Qaf and kef. There is only one occurrence for this merging, which is the following.
ألم نخلقكم.
Idgame Ma'al Ghunna, merging with nasal sound. If tanwin or nun without haraka is followed by the following letters, then Idgame Ma'al Ghunna occurs.
واو, nun, mim, ya.
These letters can be remembered easily by combining them into this word.
يمنو.
This merging has to be done with gunna, a sound that comes from nasal area. We can tell if pronunciation as gunna by checking whether there is any sound coming from the nose. If it does, then merging is done with Ghunna. If not, then the merging Idgame is without Ghunna.
أي يضرب في ريب مما خيرا يره عدو ولكم من نور.
As seen in the examples above, if tanwin or nun without a haraka is followed by one of the letters in the word,
يمنو
pronunciation of the two letters is as though the second one has a shadda. This rule is to make the pronunciation or recitation easier and less cumbersome. As an exception, if waw or ya follows a nun without haraka in the same word, then no merging is practiced. Nun is pronounced as it is written.
بنيان صنوان قنوان الدنيا.
من نار من يعمل أمة واحدة فضلا من الله لن يحور كعصف مأكول من نعمة إنكم.
Merging without Ghunna or Idgame Bela Ghunna. If lam or ra follows tanwin or nun without haraka, nun sakin, then merging without Ghunna occurs. In this case, the nun without haraka or the nun of tanwin is merged into the next letter and is not pronounced at all. The letter after nun is pronounced as having a shadda.
ولكن لا يعلمون ثمرة رزقا.
من لدنه كره لكم غفورا رحيما من ربي ويل لكل من رسلنا وآية لهم رجل رشيد.
Ihwa or hiding. Ihwa means to cover or hide. In Tajweed, it is described as the hiding of the pronunciation of the nun in the tanwin or nun sakin without any merging. This happens when tanwin or nun sakin is followed by the following letters.
T, F, Cim, Dal, Zel, Z, Sin, Şın, Sad, Dad, T, Z, F, Qaf, Kef. شيء قدير من قبلكم ماء فأخرج جنات تجري من ثمرة عذاب شديد.
فانصرنا إن كفرتم ودعا من ذا غصة مكانا ضيقا قولا ثقيلا انظر كيف هجرا جميلا أنزل الله.
Ishar or exposing. Ishar means to expose or to show. In Tajweed, it means to separate two adjoining letters by stressing each one's specific articulation point clearly. If tanwin or nun without haraka is followed by the following letters, then the pronunciation of nun and the letter that follows is clearly distinguished from each other.
Elif, Ha, H, Ayn, Ghayn, He.
These letters are also called throat letters, meaning that their articulation points is the throat.
عذاب أليم قوم خصمون من خير إله غيره أنعمت غفور حليم عنها
من آمن فإن عصوك من خوف عن هذا من غل لكم دينكم هم فيه.
Iqlab or converting. Iqlab means to turn into something else or to convert. In Tajweed, it means to convert a letter into another letter. Iqlab occurs when tanwin or nun without haraka is followed by be. In this case, the nun of tanwin or nun without haraka is turned into mim and pronounced with ghunna. To do the iqlab is compulsory in Tajweed.
أنبأهم من بعد سميع بصير لينبذن
بذنبهم من بعد سميع بصير يومئذ بجهنم أنبئهم بأسمائهم من بني آدم وأنبتنا
Qalqale. Qalqale means the loud sound of heavy items in motion. In Tajweed, it is to make strong sound when pronouncing certain letters. Letters of Qalqale are the letters that compose the
قطب جدين
words.
قاف ت ب جيم دال.
If any of these letters come in the middle of the word or end of the word without any haraka, they are pronounced by stressing their particular sound.
صمد أبتر قطر مقبول تجعلون
ويبغونها أردنا لتجري فرددناه سبحان الله وارزقنا لم يلد أطعمهم.
Zamir or pronoun. In Tajweed, Zamir is the letter that attaches to the end of the word and show the kind of the word, whether it is masculine or feminine. The rules for pronunciation of Zamir. Zamir is read with Damme or Kesre. If the haraka of the letter before Zamir is Fetha, Damme, or it has no haraka, Zamir is pronounced with Damme.
أنه خيره منه.
If the haraka of the letter before Zamir is Kesra or Ye without a haraka, the Zamir is pronounced with Kesra.
ربه فيه.
The vowel of the Zamir is sometimes lengthened and sometimes not. The following rules apply to the lengthening of the vowel of the Zamir. If Zamir is between two letters, both of which has haraka, the vowel of Zamir is lengthened.
وبه نستعين ورسوله إلى.
If Zamir is between two letters, neither of which has haraka, then the vowel of Zamir is not lengthened.
وإليه المصير آتاه الله.
If the letter before Zamir is a haraka, and the letter after Zamir has no haraka, then the vowel of Zamir is not lengthened.
يضل به الذين له الملك.
If the letter before Zamir has no haraka, and the letter after Zamir has a haraka, the vowel of Zamir is pronounced without any lengthening.
ولا تضروه شيئا فبشره بمغفرة
عبده اجعله اسمه عليه أهله ذريته لعبادته شفاعته.
Pronunciation of Ra. Although most letters in the language of Quran are pronounced either weak or strong, the letter Ra is pronounced sometimes weak, sometimes strong, depending on its location. The places where Ra is pronounced strong, when Ra has a haraka of Fetha or Damme.
برسولهم
When Ra has Jazm, no haraka, and the letter before it has Fetha or Damme.
في الأرض
When Ra has Jazm, and the letter before Ra has also Jazm, and the letter before the letter has Fetha or Damme.
خسر
When Ra has Jazm, and the letter before it is a connecting Hamza.
ارجعي
When Ra has Jazm, and the following letters follow Ra.
ح صاد ضاد ت ظ غين قاف قرطاس
The places where Ra pronounced weak. When Ye comes before Ra as a letter of Med.
يريد وذر الذين
When Ra has Jazm, and the letter before it has Kesra.
فاغفر لنا
When Ra has Jazm, the letter before it has also Jazm, the letter preceding to this letter has Kesra.
حجر
When Ra has Jazm, and the letter before Ra is one of the letters of Leen, Waw and Ye.
خير
This rule is valid only when reciter stops on Ra to take breath.
Rahmetullahi turja'un bis-sabr in irtabtum ve enzir el-zikr seyr ricalun.
States of Mimi Sakine. Mim without haraka. Mimi Sakine has three different states. When Mimi Sakine is followed by a Mim with a haraka, then Idgame Methlayn, Ma'al Ghunna, occurs. Mimi Sakine is pronounced with a Ghunna, nasal sound.
عليهم مؤصدة
When Be follows Mimi Sakine, the Ikfa, hiding, occurs. The sound of Mimi Sakine is hidden in pronunciation.
إن ربهم بهم
When Mimi Sakine is followed by any letter except Be and Mim, then Ishar occurs. The pronunciation of Mimi Sakine is exposed clearly.
معكم إنما
فلما وأمه أدعمهم من جوع دمر ترميهم بحجارة وهم بأمره هم فيه لكم دينكم.
Pronunciation of the word Allah. The following rules are about how to read the holy word, Allah. The lam in this word is pronounced sometimes weak, sometimes strong. When the letter before the word Allah as Fetha or Damme or the word Allah comes at the beginning, lam is pronounced strong.
الله هو الله
When the letter before the word Allah has Kesra, lam in the word Allah is pronounced weak.
بالله ولله
Nasrullahi Sarafallahu واتقوا الله نعمة الله في الله بسم الله لله بإذن الله.
Letters of Muqatta. At the beginning of some chapters in the Holy Quran, there are letters as part of no words that are called letters of Muqatta. Islamic scholars have different interpretations on the meaning of these letters. 29 chapters of Quran has these letters.
Elif Lam Mim Elif Lam Ra Qaf Nun Daha Elif Lam Mim Ra Hamim Yasin.
Forms of stop. Waqf. There are different rules that indicate how reciting can be stopped when reciting Quran, either to take a breath, or at the end of a verse, or at a place where stopping is preferable for the flow of meaning. When these stopping places come, the reciter can only stop at the end of a word. The following rules show how to stop when reciting. If the last letter of the word has a harakah, this letter is pronounced without harakah when stopped and pronounced as though it has jazm.
Künnes, Münteşir,
If a word finishes with a letter which has double fetha, the last letter is pronounced as having a fetha, and the vowel is lengthened for one elif time.
عذابا قريبا, فيها أبدا.
If the last letter has double damme or double kasre, the last letter is pronounced with jazm.
غفور الرحيم.
If the last letter of the word is a letter of mad, no change is made to the pronunciation of the last letter.
والأنثى, أيديهم.
If the letter before the last letter is a letter of mad, the last letter is pronounced as having jazm, and the vowel sound before it is lengthened 4 elif times.
فاكهين, يكسبون, يجمعون, أولياء.
If the letter before the last letter is either waw or ye and has jazm, then waw or ye is lengthened and the last letter is pronounced with jazm.
وشفتين.
If the last letter is te in a circle shape, it is pronounced as he with jazm.
بالمرحمة.
واعبدوا فانصب سمعا بقدر خبير الكتاب واحدة ولا نوم.
Stop signs and their status. Stop signs on or under the words and their status. Med, kasr, small nun with kesra, sekte, secavent. Med. This sign is placed under the words and indicates that the letter on top of it will be lengthened. Kasr. This sign is also placed under the words. It means that the letter on top of it will not be lengthened even though it is followed by a letter of med. Small nun with kesra. Under the letter of elif, in the beginning of some words, there is a small nun. This word is preceded by a word that ends with tanwin. The two words are combined and pronounced like a single word. Small limit kesra helps this combination and is usually pronounced as ne. Sekte. Sekte means to pause or to separate two rhythmic words without taking a breath. In Tajweed, it means to pause during the recitation without taking a breath. In the Holy Quran, there are 4 places where sekte is required.
عوج قيمة.
In this verse, the double fetha in the word
عوجا
is turned into a fetha and the pause is placed on the vowel of elif.
من مركدنا هذا.
Here, the pause is made on the elif of the word.
من مركدنا. وقيل من راق.
Here, the pause is made on the noon of the word.
من كلا بل ران.
In this verse, the pause is made on the lam of the word.
بل
Sejavend. In the Holy Quran, there are some small letter signs on some of the words. These signs are called sejavend. They show whether reciting can be stopped on this word or not, and the places where the reciter can take a breath, and the places where stopping is optional. Let's learn these signs and their meanings.
ميم.
This letter shows that the reciter has to stop on the word where the sign is located.
قيف.
It means stop. It shows stopping is better on this word.
ت.
This shows that the recitation should stop here.
ز.
This also shows that the recitation should stop.
جيم.
This sign tells us that it is okay to stop or to pass, but stopping is better than not stopping.
صاد.
If there is this sign on a word, it means the reciter can stop here if he or she needs to take a breath.
قاف.
For this sign, it is free to stop or to pass.
عين.
The reciter can stop where this sign is placed. It indicates the beginning of a new subject or story.
لام ألف.
This sign tells us that the preceding part is relating to the part that comes after the sign. It means not to stop. If stopped, the reciter should resume recitation from 2 or 3 words back. If it goes at the end of a verse, it means don't finish recitation here, but continue until the meaning is complete. These 2 signs are placed close to each other. It is required that if the reciter stops on the first one, he or she has to avoid stopping on the second sign. Or, no stop is made on the first one, then a stop is better on the second one.